going to expand on key concepts and definitions within the scope of Title VI, over which the U.S. Department of Education's Office for Civil Rights, or OCR, has jurisdiction. Title VI protects against discrimination in any of Stanford's education programs and activities. This includes admissions, recruitment, financial aid, academic programs, housing, facilities, athletics, student clubs and organizations, extracurricular activities, employment, student services, and other operations of the university. Discrimination generally refers to treating someone differently or less favorably based on a protected characteristic as prohibited by law. An example of discrimination could be refusing to admit a prospective student to an academic program on the basis of their race, color, or national origin. Harassment is a form of discrimination and refers to unwelcome conduct based on a protected characteristic that is sufficiently severe or pervasive to deny or limit a person's ability to participate in or benefit from a program or activity. Under Title VI, conduct can meet this threshold if it is severe. So, for example, a single incident that is extremely harmful or threatening, or if it is pervasive, meaning repeated or ongoing behavior that over time interferes with someone's ability to participate in a program or activity. It's important to emphasize that the standard is disjunctive. The conduct does not need to be both severe and pervasive, either one is sufficient. An example of harassment could be directing slurs and derogatory comments towards someone based on their national origin. Title VI requires that schools operate in a non-discriminatory manner, prohibit retaliation against anyone who participates in any Title VI reporting process, and promptly and effectively address alleged acts of discrimination, including harassment.
With the scope of Title VI in mind, we want to provide more detail and examples of conduct that could fall under Title VI. Title VI harassment may take many forms, including the following when based on race, color, or national origin: slurs, epithets, taunts, name-calling that are negative stereotyping, derogatory comments or jokes, insulting or obscene comments, gestures, symbols, or imagery, calls for genocide and/or violence, physical intimidation, vandalism, and targeting individuals for exclusion. Harassment creates a hostile environment when the alleged conduct is unwelcome, is both subjectively and objectively offensive, and is sufficiently severe or pervasive such that it limits or denies a person's ability to participate in or benefit from an education program or activity. Subjectively offensive means that the person who experienced the conduct personally found it unwelcome or harmful. Objectively offensive means that a reasonable person in a similar situation would also view the conduct as unwelcome or harmful. The university takes tailored and appropriate measures to address all forms of discrimination and harassment, including when prohibited conduct involves social media postings and flyers or posters on campus. Harassment does not have to include an intent to harm, be directed at a specific individual, or involve repeated incidents, for example, conduct that is severe. Importantly, individual incidents such as a single social media posting or a single statement made by someone, when not severe, may not be a Title VI violation and may appropriately be addressed through resources and supportive measures. However, Title VI requires that schools not only respond to each incident, but also consider incidents collectively in order to assess whether there's a cumulative overall impact that could constitute a hostile environment. So, for example, a number of incidents spread out over a period of time could be considered pervasive and cumulatively create a hostile environment, while any of the non-severe incidents in isolation might not. Schools must balance non-discrimination obligations under Title VI with free speech protections. Freedom of speech is the right of each person to articulate their opinions and ideas verbally or symbolically. Stanford is committed to freedom of expression, free inquiry, and the open exchange of ideas as fundamental values for the university's academic mission. Unless it rises to the level of inciting imminent violence, speech that is hurtful or offensive in nature is generally protected by the First Amendment and California's Leonard Law. Protected speech cannot be censored or punished. Protected speech that does not violate Title VI could still have an impact that warrants an institutional response to ensure the education environment is respectful, and that all members of the campus community can share their opinions. Such response might include supportive measures for affected individuals, a communication to occupants of a particular residence hall, or education and training for members of our community. In responding to reports concerning speech or conduct regarding a country's policies or practices, the university considers whether such speech or conduct is an exercise of protected speech and/or academic freedom and inquiry. Speech or conduct expressing views regarding a particular country's policies or practices does not necessarily constitute discrimination based on national origin. For information about freedom of expression and academic freedom at Stanford, see the university's Freedom of Expression website.
Thank you for your time and attention to this training. Feel free to reach out to us via our website, titlevi.stanford.edu, or our email, tvi_outreach@list.stanford.edu, if you have any additional questions. We also encourage you to review the OCR fact sheet, Harassment Based on Race, Color, and National Origin on School Campuses, and the Freedom of Expression website.